Hi grade 12s, here are my notes on The Slave Dealer by Thomas Pringle, one of the grade 12 FAL poems for 2023. The Slave Dealer, Thomas Pringle. From ocean's wave a wanderer came, with visage tanned and dun. His mother, when he told his name, scarce knew her long-lost son. So altered was his face and frame, by the ill course he had run. There was hot fever in his blood and dark thoughts in his brain. And oh, to turn his heart to good, that mother strove in vain. For fierce and fearful was his mood, racked by remorse and pain. And if at times a gleam more mild would o'er his features stray, when knelt the widow near her child, and he tried with her to pray, it lasted not, for visions wild still scared good thoughts away. There's blood upon my hands, he said, which water cannot wash. It was not shed where warriors bled, it dropped from the gory lash. As I whirled it o'er and o'er my head, and with each stroke left a gash. With every stroke I left a gash, while negro blood sprang high. And now all ocean cannot wash my soul from murder's dye, nor e'en thy prayer, dear mother, quash that woman's wild death cry. Her cry is ever in my ear, and it will not let me pray. Her look I see, her voice I hear, as when in death she lay, and said, with me thou must appear on God's great judgment day. Now Christ from frenzy keep my son, the woeful widow cried. Such murder foul thou ne'er hast done, some fiend thy soul belied. Nay, mother, the avenging one was witness when she died. The writhing wretch with furious heel I crushed no mortal nigh, but that same hour her dread appeal was registered on high. And now with God I have to deal, and dare not meet his eye. So the poet Thomas Pringle was born in Scotland in 1789 and devoted his life as an activist in the anti-slavery movement. He emigrated to South Africa in 1820 and later on moved to London, where he spent the rest of his days. The speaker in the poem is a third person from the point of view of the slave dealer. When we look at structure, the poem is written in the form of a ballad. Ballad has a musical quality. Ballads can go on indefinitely, repeating those stanzas of 6 lines each containing 3 rhyming couplets. So the rhyme scheme for each stanza is different, starting with A, B, A, B, A, B. We have a tone of regret or remorse for the things that the slave dealer did while on his journeys, and the mood generally somber and angry or sad. He cannot forget the things that he did to innocent people while he was away. The themes that you can look out for are torment, which is intense mental suffering, slavery, and remorse, or a deep regret for killing people, a deep regret for the things he did. So the poem, in summary, is about a slave dealer who went away. In the first stanza, he's compared to a normal traveler, a wanderer. He was away and forcibly removed people from their countries and sold them into slavery all over the world. He cannot come to terms with what he did during his lifetime as a slave dealer. He comes home to his mother, but is almost unrecognizable, both in physical appearance and in spirit. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 6. From ocean's wave a wanderer came, with visage tanned and dun. His mother, when he told his name, scarce knew her long-lost son. So altered was his face and frame by the ill course he had run. So imagery in a poem is meant to provoke feelings of sadness, shock, or disbelief through the use of words in the poem. As you read certain words in the poem, it makes you feel something because you see an image in your mind. Imagery can also be positive, but for the purpose of this poem, we are looking at imagery that causes shock and disbelief, sadness, horror. So from ocean's wave, he came back across the ocean, a wanderer. The fact that wanderer is written with a capital letter makes us see it as a name. So we look at the word wanderer as his new name. However, he is compared to a normal traveler in this metaphor, with a tanned face, someone who was away traveling and came back tanned. Visage, an image or an expression, a facial expression, or your appearance or your face, tanned and dun. Dun is a greyish brown colour. So he came back as a wanderer, a traveller. The image created there is that he has no purpose. Okay, he's without purpose. His mother, when he told his name, he had to tell his mother his name, scarce knew her long-lost son, showing us how long he has been away as a slave dealer. It has taken up a large portion of his life. So altered was his face and frame by the ill course he had run. Image created there is of a harsh journey. Stanza 2, there was hot fever in his blood and dark thoughts in his brain. And oh, to turn his heart to good, that mother strove in vain. For fierce and fearful was his mood, racked by remorse and pain. There was hot fever in his blood and dark thoughts in his brain. Very strong image there. The anger he carries burns like a hot fever. In his blood, thoughts in his brain. It is part of him. And oh, to turn his heart to good, that mother strove in vain. In vain means that you do something without success. His mother tried everything, but she could not change him. She could not turn his heart to good. For fierce and fearful was his mood, racked by remorse and pain. Fierce meaning vicious. You'll see the alliteration in line 11. For fierce and fearful was his mood. The F sound slows down the pace at which we read the poem to show us that he was living with this fear all by himself. Racked by remorse and pain, an image of torture.